What if I told you the best Volibear build is always based on one idea? That idea changes how you build in every single game. If you can pinpoint this one thing, you'll always know exactly what items to go for. In this video, I'll break it down across 3 games, each one showing you how to adapt and dominate. Now, this isn't some secret trick. It's something most Volibear players know, but never actually use. It's simple. How many times can you bite one target in a fight? That's it. One number decides your whole build. For game 1, I want you to pause the video and try this. Look at the enemy team and estimate, realistically, how many bites you can land per target. Ideally, you should do this in Champ Select. The more aware you are, the better your build will be. Let's say in this match, top lane gives you 2 bites, jungle 1, mid 1 to none, ADC maybe 2, and support like Rel, potentially unlimited. That tells you everything. This game isn't about extended fights. Most targets give you just 1 bite. So you go Frozen Gauntlet into Black Cleaver. Maximize impact per engage. Your job is to burst and disengage, not stick forever. Every bite has to hit like a truck. Here's the truth. Volibear's signature move isn't his ultimate. It's his W, his bite. That's what wins fights. So you need to build around how reliably you can use it. Take this matchup. Against Talon Jungle. You'll see this champ constantly and it's always the same. You bite once, he vanishes. That means your first bite has to hurt. That's where Black Cleaver and Frozen Gauntlet shine. They give you the burst you need. And sometimes, the rare chance to bite again. You'll also notice that your Volibear build should almost always revolve around 2 things. Your first 2 core items, and they should lean offensive, not defensive. That's the general rule. Always build your core setup with an aggressive mindset. Why? Because the real question is, how long can you stay relevant in a fight and output more bites? Never build around your ultimate, it's a trap. I've lost countless fights trying to use my R as a setup tool, only to get punished. Now, I use it defensively, to escape or extend my Q stun duration, and my win rate shot up. You also shouldn't build around your E, it's utility. I use it to shield myself, slow, or block a path, but not to carry fights. That leaves us with your passive, your Q, and your bite. If you want to play around your passive, you build for uptime and DPS. If you want to play around your Q and bite, you go full AD, damage, haste, and auto-enhancing items. That's how you turn Volibear from a meat shield into a carry. Now, we move to game 2 and apply the same logic. How many bites can I realistically land against their comp? The answer in this one was funnier than expected. I kind of cheated, because I knew the build would work. The enemy picked Volibear, so I locked in Mordekaiser. I wanted to ult him and teach him a lesson, but in the late game I got rolled instead. Let's break down the bite logic. Against their top lane Aatrox, I can usually land 1 to 2 bites. Against their jungler, it's unlimited, because once he ults, we're stuck in a long 1 versus 1. Akali, 1 bite max. Ezreal, 1, if lucky. Zyra, 1 bite or none. So overall, there's barely any value in building for extended fights, except for that guaranteed 1 versus 1 against Mord. That's why I went AP. Normally, I think Navori is a bad item. Decent in duels or skirmishes, but terrible in teamfights, and it will teach you bad manners as a Volibear player. You will be constantly seeking to fight even when the odds are totally against you. It is called reckless driving. But this game wasn't about team fighting. I built entirely around the one matchup that mattered, dueling Mord, and it paid off. Once I hit my power spike, around 10 to 15 minutes, the build came strong. Yeah, I risked losing early or getting poked out by Akali and Zyra, but it was an educated risk. The plan was simple: play safe, scale up, and wait for Mord to challenge me. Because in that isolated fight, I control the outcome. Now we move to our 3rd game, and this one is slightly different, but also a bit similar to game 1. Playing against Kayn is a lot like playing against Talon. Both have mechanics that let them slip away the moment a fight stops going in their favor. Against the top laner, we can likely land 2 bites. He'll usually commit to the 1 versus 1. Against Victor, it's typically 1 bite, maybe 2. If the Victor knows what he's doing, he'll drop his gravity field right after the first bite, making a second one almost impossible. Kai'Sa is also just a 1-bite trade. Support? Probably 1 or 2 max. So again, this is an AD game, but here's what stood out. They had 3 healing high regeneration champions. So I decided to build Chempunk Chain's Word. Some might argue that in this game, movement speed would be more valuable than armor reduction. That's fair. But my logic was simple. I wanted to cut healing on Garen, Nami, and Kayn, especially if Kayn went red form. That way, I could still do AD damage while weakening their sustain. Garen wasn't going full tank, so Black Cleaver wouldn't have as much value here. The point is this: even though the match felt familiar, the build changed because of one key difference: the enemy team's healing. This is why Volibear building should always be aware of game context. Use simple rules, tie them back to Volibear's kit, and always build around your bite and how long you can stay in the fight. There's one last thing I haven't talked about yet, and that's runes. Runes should be consistent, but they also need to reflect what you want to do with Volibear in that specific game. Personally, I prefer a strong or even early game, so my go-to keystone is press the attack. However, in some matchups, especially when the enemy has a ton of burst that lands fast and hard, I'll switch to Aftershock. It's rare, but it works in those high-pressure dive situations. I've experimented with other runes too, and while they can work in niche scenarios, they often backfire. Also, I always run Triumph. Even though it's occasionally bugged and doesn't heal, it still offers value in extended fights. I used to run Legend, of Haste for cooldown, but I swapped to Legend, Alacrity, because my Volibear playstyle heavily relies on spacing, W timing, and auto-attack flow. Higher attack speed gives me more flexibility to duel and combo properly. For late-game damage, I go Last Stand. It's more of a mindset pick. Volibear often sits around 30% HP in fights, and that's where you are very dangerous, not dead. For secondary runes, I always go Resolve. Post-changes, Unflinching became massive. It gives resistances on slow and other CC that lasts after the fight for 2 seconds, and it's amazing against most comps. Conditioning is my long-term investment rune. It kicks in at 12 minutes, and here's the logic. If the game's going well, that's free durability. If it's going badly, then it becomes your plan B. Conditioning gives you raw resistances that scale with HP, and Volibear loves that. If you're behind, this will keep you afloat until you finish your 3rd or 4th item. Some players chase movement speed or most used builds, but every rune choice needs to have a purpose. If you're just copying others, sure, you might win 2 games, then lose 10, and wonder why. My goal is always the same. Play smart for the first 10 minutes, then shift my build. If I'm ahead, we go full offense, and conditioning becomes the only defense I need. If I'm behind, conditioning plus unflinching becomes my comeback engine, and that's how you make runes win games. You'll notice that most players in the additional runes go for attack speed, but I prefer ability haste, because that gives you about 12 seconds off your late-game ultimate, which is huge. Around major objectives, your ult often comes off cooldown just a second too late, and the fight is already over. That cooldown reduction changes everything. Tenacity is also underrated. It's rare in the game, and that's why I value it so much. This brings me to the next point, boots. I've completely shifted how I choose them. Early on, I prioritize Merc's boots to complement my first 2 items, but by mid-game, I treat boots like tools. I sell Lucidity boots and swap based on what makes me play better. If I need tenacity, I go Mercs. If I need more damage or dueling power, I go Swifties or Plated against heavy auto-attack comps. The last shift I made is in summoner spells and Smite. I now always run Red Smite because it fits my core assumption. We need more damage. Red Smite burns the enemy for 4% max HP, and against invisible champs, it even leaves a trail. That's massive for tracking invisible targets for 4 seconds, chasing and dueling potential. These small things add up, and when it comes to skill order, I no longer max Q first. I used to, but now, with boots covering my engage speed, I find that W max is far better. Bite max gives more sustain, lower cooldown from 5 to 2.5 seconds, and much more damage. Q is now a utility tool, not a core damage ability. So I go W max every game unless there's a very specific reason not to, and it's made a huge difference in consistency. The most important thing about this build is that it actually makes Volibear fun again. That's it for today's video. I wanted to focus purely on itemization and give you deep insight into how I approach it. I hope it was helpful. I'm using voiceover today because I'm away from home and can't record live commentary at the moment. But don't worry, I'll be uploading these 3 games soon in the usual live format, so you can see everything I explained here in real time with more context and in-game decision-making. Sometimes adjustments happen on the fly, and it's important to see how flexible this build format system really is. Even if the matchup looks the same, the players never are, and sometimes it's not the enemy team that forces changes. It's your own teammates who refuse to play properly. Thanks so much for watching. Until the next one, take care and peace.
This one is average. It never works like that, but it feels like that. It feels like that. What is this? So damage dealt to champion is 2k. So based on your estimation, if I click on it, I need to see 2k damage. Almost 2k. So it is somewhat correct. Which is 900 for each. Yeah, so if for each 900 we do 10k. Something like that, like 8%. So yeah, each 800. Yeah, for each 800 we do 1k, 10k damage.